Hi everyone. Today I'm going to show you my watercolor inks and palettes. There are 3 sets of watercolor inks. This is the first set. It's called the warm set. We have poppy, which is red, orange, deep yellow, rose, and black. So this comes in one set of 5 watercolor inks, and I want to show you the palette as well. The palette has 6 wells and one in the center is technically 7 wells. They are stackable, so I have 2 palettes. I have one for this set, the warm set of watercolor inks, and I have another set palette for my cool set of inks, which I'll show you in a minute. So to use my watercolor inks for lettering or painting, I simply, I'll start with the poppy because I'm going to swatch these out for you in a fast forward. But I take it, it's an eyedropper, it's a glass bottle, so it will keep for a very long time. And I can squeeze, honestly, I just take 1 drop or 2, add it to the palette, and then I use my brush, mix it up, and I'm ready to go. Now that's using it at full strength. Usually I don't use it at full strength. Each palette comes with 3 pipettes. These are just clear little droppers that, oh, I just dropped water on there, that you fill with clear water. So I have my clean water here. Well, it doesn't look too clean, but it is pretty clean. And then I would fill it with water and then just add it to my palette well, where I have the ink. Now I'm going to show you this side of the palette here and zoom in a little bit. This is my, so this is deep yellow. So if you can see, there is liquid, there's water and ink in each of these 3 wells. In the center is iridescent, and we have white, and this I mixed with white, but I'll show you that in a minute. So these all are wet. This one is dry, and I wanted to show you that it's dry with a little fuzzy in there because I let my palettes dry like this. I don't clean them out after, so I keep them reserved for my yellow, and I will just simply add water to this. So let me get my water from my pipette. When it's dry, I'll get a few drops of water. I'll mix it with my brush, and then I will, oopsie, that brush wasn't clean. I'll mix it with my brush and see if I need more water or not, or test it out on my paper and see what the color's like, and then drop in more ink or not. So the watercolor inks are really flexible at using them at full concentrate or adding water to them. And you can be very scientific about it. You can put 2 drops of ink and 3 drops of water, and then you can do a swatch and you can record that. Today I'm just going to show you the colors, and in future videos I will show you more about everything. Okay, I am going to use my size 4 because it's the largest brush I have for with the KellyCreates wooden set of brushes. Comes in 4 sizes, and I also have these 2 water brushes, but I will use my size 4, and I'm just going to turn my paper because I got it wet. And I will swatch these out, and I'm going to swatch them out for you in this fast forward at full strength. So what that means is I'm going to take the ink, which I don't normally do, and I will just put a drop or whatever on my watercolor paper at full strength. I will take my brush with some water, and then I will add the water like this. And what you want to do when you swatch out is you can leave this at full strength like this, or you can add, I'm going to move my water over here. You can put your brush in water once and then do the next value. And I usually do 3 or 4 of these. And again in the water, diluting it to see what your colors look like. And then you have a really good idea of what the colors look like. So you can make your swatches messy like this. They do not have to be tidy, or you can make them into a shape, which I actually really encourage. So for example, when you are working with a shape, you are always exercising your, so how can I say it? You're always developing your skills. So if I was to, a circle's hard. So if you're going to do a circle, that's fine, but even a triangle, or try to make a nice square or an oval. But because I'm a lettering artist, I always try to, with any activity, I try to work on my skills. So now I'm going to dip in my, I'm going to get this water back on here. Dip in my water and off, and then do the next value and keep my circle as nice as possible. And you don't want to get too large because these are fine tip brushes. They don't hold a ton of paint and water, but they hold enough to do a decent sized circle. Oh, I'm off camera there. And now I'll dip once more and get the last value here. And when you're doing if you're doing your shape or your circle, like I said, don't make it too big, but also make sure you work fairly quickly so that it is completely evenly wet. When it's not, then you'll have a little bit of trouble seeing what's what. Okay, so that is my poppy. For the rest of them, I'm just going to swatch out just like the first row, just so it's not too incredibly exact. Okay, here we go. So here are the 5 cool colors. We have, oops, I dropped water. Violet, teal, emerald, blue, and cobalt. The last thing I want to show you is the third set of colors, and it is a set of 3 white, black. Use black a lot when you do lettering, so that's why we have a black in the warm set and then the black sold separately. And then the piece de resistance, iridescent. And this stuff is stunning. It is so beautiful, and you can use it alone, or you can put it on top of your inks that are dry, or you can mix it with your inks directly and then paint with it. I do want to caution you though, if you do that, you have to clean very carefully your brush and your palette. Otherwise you will always have glittery lettering, which there's nothing wrong with that. So I don't think I need to demo the black because we know what black's all about. I will show you the white. The white is quite thick. So when you open the white, first of all, you want to shake it really well. And it behaves more like a gouache. It is opaque, it's not transparent. So it's nice for highlights, and also I'll show you something else I'll do with it in a minute. But you can see that this even is a little bit thick. And so what I do, if it is really quite thick, I will use my pipette and clean water, take out the eyedropper, and I'll just drop a couple of drops of water in there if I find it is super thick. But I don't dilute it too much because remember, I can always dilute it in the palette. It's just if you're getting it out of here. Okay, So let's grab my palette. I'm going to try to move my inks here. All right, here's my palette. So you can see I had yesterday placed some iridescent right in the center. So I'll show you that first, and then I think my red's dry, so I might put it on top of my red. Okay, so I will shake up my iridescent, make sure it is all mixed up nicely in there. Look at that. Matches my nail polish actually. Okay, and then I will squeeze, look at this beautiful stuff, and squeeze a few drops. Oh, I didn't squeeze it in here. And drop a few drops in here like that. There, now I got it. And you can see it. The sparkle is amazing. All right, and then I could take my brush. Let me make sure my brush is clean. And let me just, I'm going to scooch this. Is this dry? This is pretty dry. I think it'll show up better. So using it at full strength, if you use it at full strength, one thing you should realize is that it is going to give a lot of coverage. So let's zoom in, and I think this is dry, so we can try it on. Maybe the purple would be nicer. Okay. And I can simply pick it up here. You can see it's a little bit creamy, or you could add water to this and you could get it a lot less, make it thinner. And then if you're lettering or painting or whatever, you can just put it right on top. And you can see, I hope you can see the shine and sparkle it brings. So if you're doing stamping or your art journal or any kind of lettering or painting, you can add this and it will sparkle it up immensely. So remember, I'm adding it to dry paint and I'm adding it on top. So let's now, let me see where I'm going to use this palette and add it to the pink and then mix it directly. So I have is that my rose? Yes. So I'm going to take my rose, I'll zoom out a bit. Take my rose, I will add a couple of drops here. Okay, and then I will take my iridescent, make sure it's shaken up. Sometimes it separates a little bit. And first I have to press that, and I can add just a drop. Look at that. Can you see that? That's pretty enough, just like that. We don't even have to use it, right? Okay, and that's all you do. And then you mix it together. Now you can see you don't need much, right? A little goes a long way. And when I use my palettes, I only use 1 or 2 drops of ink. That's it. Now let's look at that shine. Ooh, that is gorgeous, hey? Okay, and now I'll use it with my brush. And you want to make sure it's not too thick. Like if you want to make sure it's not too thick. If it's too thick and creamy, you're going to struggle to letter with it. So let's see. This looks kind of thick to me, but we'll try it. I'm going to move this paper over a bit and I'll zoom out there. Okay, and tap it on the side, and let's do an A. Ooh, that is gorgeous, right? Look at that. I wonder if you can see the shine. I'll hold it up. Hopefully you can. Can you see that shine? It is beautiful in real life. So you can see, remember this pink, the rose, it's at full strength. So you can add water, get a light pink, any value of pink. Let's look at those values. And lighten it up and then add your iridescent to it. But keep in mind that iridescent you have to clean it up well from your brush and your palette if you don't want to keep that sparkle. All right, and now let's take a quick look at the white. So I have my white in here. Let me zoom out and move my palette. And I have my white in here. So this is just at full strength, and I would just, I'm going to try to rehydrate it. Oh, so you know, I just cleaned my, look at my water now. It's in a jar, and I just cleaned my brush. And so I don't know if you can see it, but the glitter is now, the sparkle is now in the water. So you want to be careful you don't contaminate everything. I don't mind cleaning up after. So I'm going to grab my pipette, and I'm going to add water to this, rehydrate my white. Hopefully my brush is clean. And I'm cleaning it in the water, and then I'm dabbing it onto my towel or paper towel or rag. And let's get this white rehydrated. I'm just mixing it. I probably should have cleaned my water. And you can see that it's coming to life. And if you want it more opaque, you will have to add more ink right from your bottle of white into this. Okay, that's an easy thing to do, but I just want to rehydrate this. And then if I was to use it with my darker colors and to add some highlights or whatever, I would just simply do this and use it at full strength. So when you add water, it becomes less opaque, and you would let that dry. And if you want a brighter and darker white, add more ink to this, and then let that dry, and then layer right on top like this. Okay. The cool thing I want to mention about the white is, if you look at this next part in my palette, I used my rose. I put it in here, and then I added my white together into the same palette. And when I use the white, because it acts more like an opaque acrylic ink, acrylic paint, you mix it together and you get a gouache. And if you know what gouache is, it's a watercolor that's opaque. So I was really excited to discover this. This is dry. I'm going to add some water and get it rehydrated, and then mix it up. And if it doesn't rehydrate well, just, you know, clean out your palette. But it looks a lot more white than pink right now. So what I'm going to do, it's not too bad, is I'm going to add a little bit more pink and get that color, and a little bit more white as well. So I'll put my brush here and I'll add pink. Ooh, that's pretty, hey? And I'm going to shake my white again. I'll add a blob of white. Remember, your white's pretty thick. And then I'll mix it up and then add as much water as I like and get this all mixed into a nice consistent color. And if I want it darker, I will add more pink. I think I want it a little bit darker, but it doesn't matter. So with the white and any color of ink, you can make gouache. So let me just paint with this. I'll move this over and zoom in, and let's see what that looks like. I'll draw an A on here so you can see it's solid. A solid opaque color. It's not like transparent watercolor. You've transformed your ink into a gouache using the white. And it is so pretty in real life. I'm not sure if you can see that, but suddenly now, instead of having only watercolor, you now have gouache. And if you don't know what gouache is, it's Gouache. It is an opaque watercolor with similar properties to watercolor, but you don't see through it onto the paper. Okay, I hope you have enjoyed this demo, and you can pick up some watercolor lettering products and have some fun with them and just relax and paint some pretty letters. Thanks for watching.